Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ilja and today we're going to find out what turns you on. Now before we get into the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my content. So as you can see, we're in a bit of a different setting today, and that is because I've had to move home for a bit because of the dreaded C word, the coronavirus. So for the coming few weeks, I'll probably be filming from here. I might try some different setups, but anyway, it's not important. You'll still get the same quality content as before. It's just not the same quality background. You get me? So turn-ons. There are a lot of different things that can turn different people on. Let's just find out how you can find your turn-ons. So I have some tips for when you're alone, and I have some tips for when you're together, like in a couple or whatever. So let's start with some things that can possibly turn you on for when you're alone. So first of all, of course, porn. I think porn is what comes to mind for a lot of people when we talk about something to help you get turned on, and especially when you're alone. But of course you can also watch porn together. Porn can work really well to turn you on because it's a super good visual stimulant, but also very good at audio stimulation. But you have to keep in mind that porn is not super realistic a lot of times, most of the time. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's not how you should do it in real life, but it can work perfectly to turn you on before you actually go and do something in real life. Also, there's no shame in watching porn. Just make sure that you watch good porn, preferably pay for your porn, because there are people behind it as well who need to be paid, and that is the best way to make sure that those people also work in good conditions. So preferably pay for your porn. There's no shame in watching it. It can work as a really good stimulant for you. So go and try it. Then the second thing, which I think a lot of people kind of forget about, is reading erotica. So for some people, reading it and then actively visualizing it works way better than just passively watching porn. Now, of course, the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy is very popular. I think almost everyone's heard about it at least. That could be a good one for you to read. Or there are lots of other books out there. Also, there's lots of variety. You have romance books with some sex in it. You have specifically erotica books with a lot of sex and a little bit of romance in it. But you also have them mixed in with other genres. I would show you some books right now, but all of my books are back in Belgium, so I can't really show you. The one that I can show you is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is part of a fantasy romance trilogy, and this is the second book. It's a hefty one, I know, but there's a specific chapter in this one that it's just erotica. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of sex, but it's just one chapter, so you have to be willing to read the entire thing for the one chapter. But I promise you, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's really, really worth it. Now, another thing is sounds. Try and find out what sounds can turn you on. So is it someone moaning really loudly or just normally? Or is it someone talking dirty to you? Or is it something completely different? Go on the internet, try out some sounds. Maybe there's some ASMR that really turns you on. I know you have a lot of people that really like kissing sounds. You can try that. And no, ASMR is not made to turn you on, it's made to relax you. So I know a lot of ASMR artists really hate it when people try to sexualize ASMR, because that's not the point. But I do know there are some people who claim to be ASMR artists that are really focused on turning people on, so you can try and look for those. Or, you know, if it turns you on, so what? I mean, sexualization is not a good thing in general when they're looked at in a sexual way. But if it's for you specifically and it really turns you on, there's no harm in that. So if you like someone's ASMR and it turns you on, do your thing. I mean, no one can stop you. Just don't push it to them. Don't comment on that, I think. Stay respectful towards them. Anyway, try out some different things and find what you like. Also, another thing that is related to sound is music. Maybe there's a particular kind of music that really gets you in the mood or something like that. go and try it. There are a lot of possibilities out there, and it's all, like I said, super personal, so I cannot tell you go and listen to this music because it's super sexual, go and listen to that ASMR artist because it really turns you on, because I don't know what turns you on, but these are just some tips to help you find what turns you on. And then also, of course, we should not forget our own brains, because fantasies can really turn us on. Our brains are really powerful and no one is actually able to mind read, so go wild. I'm not saying fantasies should become realities, but fantasies are good. Fantasies are fantasies, so do your thing. Then I also have some tips for when you're together, when you're in a relationship, some things to help you get in the mood or find out what you like with each other. Now the first thing you can do is the Sensate Focus exercises by Masters and Johnson, or at least kind of these exercises. These exercises were made for sex therapy, where people kind of have to refine their sexual desire. Refined, not refine. What these exercises are focused on is touching each other, but without expectations. So the first step of these exercises is touching each other, but without touching any genital areas. And for women, that would also include the boobs. So what you can do with your partner is just start touching each other in different places. Find out some places that you haven't touched before, or maybe like haven't consciously touched before. So for example, ears can be very sensitive, or your neck, for example, or your lips, maybe like the back of the head. Find out what works for you and what works for your partner. So like I said, usually you start these without touching the genitals of the other person, but do whatever you like. If you like touching those too, then go ahead. So like, these exercises were made for sex therapy, but if your sex life is fine and you just want to experiment a little bit, just experiment a little bit, but try and focus not only on the genital area, try and focus on other areas on your body as well, because it might actually surprise you what turns you on the most. It might not be your genital area. So try and stay open for that and just try out some new stuff. Then another thing you guys can try is sexting. Now I've made an entire video on how you can sext safely, so definitely go and watch that if you're willing to try it. Sexting can really turn people on. It can really enhance your sex life. And sexting is not only for people in a long distance relationship. Go and talk to your partner about it if they would like it, and then try out some new stuff. Then there's also an app that I really like the idea of. A friend recommended this to me actually, and it is the Kindu app. So in this app you're able to connect to your partner, and then the app will show you different prompts for sex, but also just for relationships. And you can say whether you would like to do it, whether you would definitely not like to do it, or whether you might want to try it, so maybe. Then the app will pair your answers and your partner's answers to show you what you both want to try. So this is a very easy way to communicate with your partner about what you want out of your sex life, and also a very easy way to try and experiment a little bit. So yeah, I say if you're not sure how to ask your partner that you want to try something new, or if you're not sure what you guys would both like, or like having a hard time thinking of new things you can do, then for sure try this app, because I think it would be perfect for you. And the last thing, and this is both for when you're in a relationship but also for when you're alone, experiment, experiment, experiment. The only way you will find out whether something turns you on or not is when you try it. So of course there are lots of other things you can try. So for example, sex toys, there's an entire world of that. I mean, I recently went to an event where they had some hennep oil that you could put on sensitive areas such as the clitoris that would start to tingle and might help you get turned on. There are lots of things you can try, but the only way you'll find out whether it will actually turn you on is when you experiment. Now, those are all of my tips for you for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like if you liked it, and go and follow me on my social media, which will all be linked in the description down below. So I say try some new things, have some fun, and I hope to see you next week. Mwah! Bye!